Jimmy.
John,
Awkward intro. Go.
starting the podcast magnificently while I have a face full of food and tea. Thank you so much.
Yeah, that's kind of like
No.
few things in life is pissing you off. What's called? Yeah, we said we'd hit record because we were actually starting to talk about football before, and probably ruining the good shit while talking about what actually happened. So yeah, I guess Jimmy, you may as well do a little intro and explain what the hell we are.
We're Statr draft. We talk football, we know football, but most of all, we look at it from the cold, yet beautiful eye of statistics. And my eyes are the coldest you'll ever see because I don't really give a shit about football. I don't give much of a fiddlers about football. Of late, I have been a Brighton fan, ergo my background. But mostly I have not watched football for the bones of 20 years since I was a little kid, up until a couple of years ago. However, I do love the what I saw described as the beautiful game inside the beautiful game, which is fantasy football, because it's all in the numbers. And we love it around here at Statr, and we are hoping to be your place for all things fantasy football over the coming months, years, and decades.
Nice.
That covered? That just about covered it.
Yeah. I'm Jon. I like football. I really like football. Yeah, no, that's me. Fuck it. I don't like that you're winning in the league at the moment. Just gonna get that out there.
No, I'm sure that bothers you. For any of you who have been following our blog, you'll be aware that Jon did a wonderful analysis of my draft team being terrible, and my draft team is much better than his, which is why we score much more points than his. Last I checked, 4 of the top 11 players this week were on my team. And for the context of those of you who aren't in our league, there's 180 players picked. So to have 4 out of the top 11, it's pretty good going. You know, most of my strikers came in for me today. Bueno, we had a little Kai Havertz action.
Yeah, fuck you.
A little saucy João Pedro there. Good game, that actually, for those who watched it.
So, yeah, what we're doing at the moment is we have been playing this game for about 10 years now. This is season 10 or 11.
This is season 11. We started in 2014, the 14-15 season. So this is season 11.
So for the last 11 years, a group of us and our mates have been playing our own self-built version of fantasy football. And for the rest of the year, we're going to be basically talking shit about football, but through the lens of our game. So with that in mind, what we're actually looking at today is the transfer window, the transfer deadline day, the movers, the players.
It slammed shut yesterday at 11 p.m. because nobody wanted to work late on a Friday night. Slam! That's what it did.
I'm actually very happy about that, though. I'm happy it's over. I'm happy it's closed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. On with it. It's very disruptive. I mean, you've got guys on like silly money whose entire career and job depend on hopefully their boss not hiring someone else to do their job while they're still doing it. So to pretend that the window doesn't have an impact on player performance when 99% of all sport is between here and here is crazy. It's a huge thing. It's not as dramatic as it has been in previous years.
That day is done, and I blame Fabrizio Romano for that. I think Fabrizio Romano has ruined transfers.
I don't know who that is.
No, this is my hot take. Fabrizio Romano has ruined transfers. Like, first of all, he's an absolute tapping merchant. And now when you're actually looking at the days of waking up in the morning and being like, Ronaldinho has just signed for you, and you're like, the fuck? Yeah. That's gone because everything and every step of the transfer is now a sag. It's like, deal agreed. Mm-hmm. Personal terms agreed. Oh, now they're working out the payment platform. Like we never knew in the past about the banking side of this. It was like, yeah, they're just agreeing payment terms and stuff. So like they're going to pay the money. They're just figuring out like da. So like every step of the transfer is actually noted. So it's not as fun, but
it's not. It's the age
I do enjoy it, and especially when you're watching a shit show like Chelsea.
Are we starting with Chelsea? Are we going straight to Chelsea? We're going straight to the top here.
Yeah, I think we need to go start with Chelsea.
Right, just for the record, I'm a 39-year-old shopkeeper, and Chelsea offered me a 7-year contract on $100,000 a week about 20 minutes ago. Jon, did you get a contract offer from Chelsea, or?
No, I can't pass a medical.
Right. Okay. Well, Chelsea seem to be just banging out more contracts than a phone company at the moment. It's unbelievable. It's going on a while too, as far as I know. Like I
Since the
genuinely
goalie,
don't understand what's going on here, because my understanding was up until now, guys would get like 2 and 3 year contracts. They might make a nice little wedge, and then there would be the freedom for the club to get rid of them while they're still young enough to sell them without having a huge wage bill to pay off. And then last year, Chelsea went and just started hoovering up players on insanely long term contracts, as well as extending contracts
okay,
with existing players.
I'll explain how this
Help
happened.
me understand this. What the
Yeah,
hell?
I'll explain this one too. So basically, Roman Abramovich, bad man.
Bad man.
So Chelsea had to get sold. And this American chap and his consortium, Todd Bowley, came in, and they had this a great idea to basically moneyball football, to hoover up young talent under 23, basically stockpiling that low wages, long contracts. So while someone like Cole Palmer, well, actually he's probably the worst example, but someone like Moses Caicedo, who probably got offered more per week to play for Liverpool, he's got a guarantee, we'll say, of 100 grand for 8 years versus 120 grand for 3 years with an option of a fourth. Now, if you're a footballer whose career is going to be based on 2-3 year contracts and constantly fighting for your next contract, and if you get a bad injury or something goes wrong, you could end up going playing from Aston Villa to Dagenham and Redbridge in the space of 2 years.
Sure,
You
I get
see
that.
players like, journeyman players like Ravel Morrison, who have essentially played for 14 clubs in 15 years, stuff like that, because they can't stick around. So this idea of a fella getting like a 7-year contract is nuts. It definitely helped. Players definitely take their foot off the wheel at this point. But the idea from Chelsea was, if we stockpile young, we can sell at it, because the market is ever increasing, ever growing, blah, blah, blah. So if we buy it for this now, we can sell for this later. If there's a 40 or 60% success rate, which is about the average for transfers, 60% win and 40% don't, then they'll turn a profit over the course of the time of these contracts. They're essentially trying to moneyball and bats transfers without thinking of the player side, the incentives, the actual industry. Because, put it like this, the best example we have of how fucked Chelsea are in terms of how they operate as a club is the first big deadline day transfer that we should probably talk about, which was Raheem Sterling.
Yeah, incredible that the biggest news in the transfer window is a $6.5 million loan deal on paper. We all know it's more than that. And if I may, give me the space, let me see if I got this right. Raheem Sterling has not been performing very, very well the last couple of years. He's been in the top 10 in Opta scoring pretty much constantly for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
He is an absolutely bankable player, or was. He was one of the top 3, I think, in 15. He had a great spell at City. He had an amazing spell at Liverpool before that, and he went to Chelsea, and he's dropped off a bit. Now, that being said, I did a little looking into his numbers, as I tend to do, and he's still at roughly a three matches to score goal average across his entire career. And he's getting older. And he has on 91 Premier League goals, which means he's moving up on 100. He's going to want that 100. He's going to want to play. I get why he might want to get away from Chelsea, who were seemed very, abrupt in finishing their relationship with some of their long-term players. Conor Gallagher springs to mind. Their own captain was told, get out. Yeah. Ben Chilwell, who's been, and both of those are leadership figures, remember.
Chilwell's still there. They couldn't give him away.
They couldn't give him away, but I understand that with Sterling, the issue was his wage bill, that there was X amount left on his contract. Chelsea didn't want to pay it because they have no use for him. So he has instead gone on loan for absolute peanuts. Like 6 million's a lot to you and I, but in the world of football, it's nothing.
No, look, this is the way Chelsea have done this is actually shit show. So Raheem Sterling, for a start, I think is actually possibly the missing piece for Arsenal, because he's better than Gabby Martinelli out on the left. He's got the know-how of winning Premier Leagues. He's won, 4 or 5?
Yeah, but at City.
At City, where he won the Player of the Year there while he was there.
Sure, but you couldn't say he's had a good couple of years at Chelsea.
No, but who can perform at Chelsea? That club is an absolute raving dumpster fire. They're sitting on each other. They're sitting on each other's laps in the dressing room because there isn't enough space.
Conor Gallagher performed at Chelsea, although it was brief. Cole Palmer performed at Chelsea. Nicholas Jackson, when he's in the right mood.
No, you can't count Nicholas Jackson.
Fine.
You can literally count Cole Palmer, and he is the exception, not the rule.
Thiago Silva. I'm saying it's not impossible.
Over the last 2 years, it's been impossible unless you're Cole Palmer.
Maybe. But I do seem to remember Sterling getting lots of game time. And
He did, and up to a couple of
really,
weeks ago, he would have been in the plans, and then they went and signed Neto, and then they said they went and signed Jadon Sancho, and then they went and signed João Felix, and then they have a
yeah.
whole new batch of wingers on top of Madueke, Chukwuemeka, Nicholas Jackson.
Mm.
These are just the ones that's springing to top right. Obviously,
Okay.
Cole Palmer.
So
Only
there
Cole
was no
Palmer.
space. There was
That's
no
what
room there for him. He's not part of the plans. I get
what
that.
Chelsea have done is they have this thing called the bomb squad, and they basically any players they don't want. It's like, yeah, you're going over train over there. Go find yourselves a new club. Good luck.
Okay.
You're not to enter the change rooms. You're not to go to the canteen. You rock on, do your training, go home.
So while this transfer doesn't tell us anything about Chelsea's possible lineups because A, do not touch, and B, nobody knows, do we really think he comes in for Martinelli?
Yes,
Really?
he's not going there not to play.
That's stiff competition there. Arsenal aren't a team that aren't functioning. Arsenal managed to hold Brighton to a draw today with 10 men in an incredibly impressive display of defensive football.
Yeah.
They were very good. I hated seeing it because
What was Arsenal's problem? What's Arsenal's problem been for the last 2 years? They don't have someone who can score the goals when they need it.
Gabriel Jesus has been their problem for the last 2 years, because he had a spectacular year before that, and he's been dining out on it since. Kai Havertz looks like something towards a replacement, but I don't think he's ever going to be the 20-25 goals a year man that they need. Do you know what they need? They need an Aubameyang. They need someone who's going to just stick it in. Oh, good Aubameyang, not recent Aubameyang. They need someone who's going to put the ball in the hole, and I'm not convinced Sterling is that, because I understand.
They needed Ivan Toney. Everybody needed Ivan Toney, and Ivan Toney's probably the best next transfer. A fella off to Saudi.
40 million. I remember like a whole extra digit on that number when we were talking about this time last year.
80 to 100.
40 seems a little bit skinny. A little bit skinny.
Not when he has a year left on his contract.
See, there you go. I mean, look,
year left on the contract, so he would have gone for free next year. But I'm surprised at 28, 29 going over to 70. Yeah, he's earning a wedge, but I'm surprised. Chelsea, Arsenal, Liverpool, United, all of whom are looking for an out-and-out centre forward, and he's sitting there going, cool, I've been the next best goal scorer to, the tall Viking who bagged another hat-trick today.
Yeah. And I'm not using his name on a podcast. I'm not using his name. I refuse to acknowledge the existence of him. He is everything that's wrong with fantasy football. But back to Tony for a second. Let's be honest. Tony's absence makes Mbeumo now probably one of the most bankable attackers in the league.
Yeah.
The window is closed, and unlike someone moving in, he's now got someone moving out. And we saw it today. I think it was 2 he put past Southampton, was it not? Was it Southampton? Yeah, 2 goals. And I believe an assist last week and a goal in week 1. So I sure would like to know who was clever enough to draft him.
Look, you're having an early season fucking run. I wouldn't be getting ahead of yourself.
Yeah, him, Havertz, Pedro.
Yeah. Adama Traore had a great weekend. Doesn't make him world class.
Did you know my Ipswich defender got an assist today?
Yes, he did.
Leif
Davids. I like him.
I like him.
I appreciate that as a fucking pickup. And I would have said in the blog, potentially great, potentially a terrifying experience.
I think he's very fixture dependent. I think he's
also
very
young.
Game dependent. Yeah.
He's very, very young. So, yeah.
He'll be back from injury fast.
Mbeumo's going to be a big one in the league this year. But Tony, I'm surprised nobody went for him because, Liverpool are still rocking with Nunez. Chelsea, despite all of the players that they have in the world, they don't actually have a qualified goalkeeper or goal scorer.
Yeah.
Arsenal probably needed somebody who can come in, guarantee 15 plus goals that would have got them over the line to win the league.
And that's not Raheem Sterling.
It's a different department for him.
Yeah, I know. He's better further out, but he's not going to involve in 15 goals this season. I'm sure.
Okay. Do you want to make a bet on that? No, actually, I don't want to make a bet on Raheem Sterling. That will break my heart. This is great for Liverpool and City, and the fact that if I'm backing him, it means Arsenal in the league, and I don't know what I can. At least at
I
this
can live
point,
with that.
I could probably accept City winning the league again because it's like, you're cheating.
No. I can accept Arsenal winning the league a lot faster than I can accept City winning 5 in a row.
Yeah.
And not to forget, that would make them even better than the Limerick Hurlers. We can't have that.
Okay.
We can't have that. No. It's Arsenal are an acceptable face of alternative victory. Liverpool would be, but I enjoy the tears of their fans so very much. I thrive on the persecution complex of Liverpool fans. So I would love to see them finish second forever.
I'm gonna throw 3 quick fire transfers at you.
Hit me.
Aaron Ramsdale
To Southampton.
Prowse, Eddie Nketiah.
Right. Aaron Ramsdale is going to have 3 relegations on his CV. That's great news for a goalie. James Ward-Prowse is gone to Forest, a team that thus far has lacked players that are as experienced as him in the Premier League. Let's be honest. They've got some raw talent. They've got some amazing players. But Ward-Prowse may be to them what Ross Barkley was to Luton last year.
Ooh, I think that's harsh on Forest. Like, they have a good team. They're just... I don't even know if he starts.
I don't know if he needs to. And at his age, obviously, he's not going to be playing 30 games, but he is...
How old does he think, man? How old do you think he is?
I would have said 29.
No.
Really?
Absolutely not.
He feels like he's been around forever.
He's been around a while.
Well, he's a very good player.
You're right. He's 29.
It's a number. He's gone to a team that have been kind of bursting with all these exciting transfers and exciting players, and then they play exciting football and don't get very good results. I'm glad they're still up.
Morgan Gibbs-White, Elliot Anderson, Ryan Yates, Abraham Singer, Alanga, Dominguez, Danilo.
Yeah, but bottom half.
Callum Hudson-Odoi, Tyler Agnoni.
But in terms of numerically bankable, it's Gibbs-White. Don't Chris Wood me. Chris Wood is having his 2 weeks at Easter early this year.
James Ward-Prowse is a match made in heaven.
How so?
James Ward-Prowse goes, I take free kick, I take corner, I take set piece. James Ward-Prowse is one of the best free kick takers that the Premier League has ever seen.
Yeah.
And he's definitely going to break the record because he's going to get a few free kicks here. Like, if he's on the pitch and he gets a couple of free kicks this season, he's going to bag one. He's going to beat that record. Job done, move along. But in terms of indirect set pieces, Chris Wood in the box and him going outside the box going, make the run. Thank you.
So Chris Wood is a trap, statistically speaking. Chris Wood usually hibernates through the winter months. He wraps himself in a nest of kind of mediocre boredom. And then as the spring unfurls like the flowers, he comes out and scores 3 goals in 2 weeks. And he does this every fucking year. And he does this every flipping year. And then he goes back into hibernation, right? But this year he's decided to come out of his shell early. Now, it's not going to last a 4th week. And don't forget either, Forest have a particularly soft first 6 games. So maybe it does last another couple of weeks. But there's
even that, they have a fella from set pieces that's going to give him a better quality of ball.
Is a low quality ball something that's been a problem for him before now?
Well, if James Ward-Prowse, it's the same reason why, for example, one of my favorite combos in set pieces was Andres Pereira to Mitrovic. Andres Pereira can take a corner kick, and Mitrovic knows where to go. It's bang, bang. Whereas if that's Elliot or fucking Ashley Young or Kyle Walker or taking that free kick in or corner in, it's not the same quality of ball.
Okay. I can see how
is not giving you a cross that Andres Pereira can do.
No, nor Ward-Prowse, I suppose. Okay, well, look, it remains to be seen. Maybe they do brilliantly this year, but I would say Ward-Prowse will probably shine in the context of Nottingham Forest. And who was the third one?
Eddie Nketiah to Crystal Palace.
Eddie Nketiah is, stop me if I'm wrong, End of last season or end of the season before, Jesus was injured and Nketiah absolutely shone for Arsenal.
Not last year, the year before. Yeah.
Year before, right. I remember that. We're talking kind of Christmas and onwards. There was very little action out of Jesus till the end of the season. Nketiah filled those boots, and he filled them nicely and brought them all the way to the dizzying heights of second place, which is where they always are. And that's fine. Where was he last year?
He was there.
But he's just completely second strung by Jesus.
Jesus, Havertz, Saka, Martinelli.
It's a tough squad to break into. So, Crystal Palace then. I know Michael Olise is gone. He's off out fodden. But Mateta's still there.
Mateta's still there. Eze is still there.
Where does Nketiah fit?
On the right.
Okay.
On the right.
I'm going to say Ward-Prowse probably likely to be more successful in terms of points. Nketiah probably better off moving on to get some game time, but I don't know if Palace is going to where he's find himself nailed on, because Mateta is, as we all know, Mateta is the destroyer of dreams, the ruiner of seasons, the crusher of hearts, the breaker of minds. I'm going to let you tell this story, John. So I'm just going to seethe here for a minute.
In the league last season, Jimmy got to the final. Now, Jimmy is not allowed to get to finals. Jimmy is not allowed to win anything. We all make it our life's mission to make sure that Jimmy wins fuck all, because fuck you, Jimmy. Just call a spade here.
I'm going to give you my own stats in a minute, but do go on.
Okay, you're going to win nothing as per usual. But anyway,
I won the silverware last year.
We got to the final. Gary got to the final. Won as much as you. Jimmy got to the final. Gary got to the final. And on the final day, 15 minutes before the transfer window closed,
Gary woke up.
Gary woke up having not done a transfer for 6 weeks.
6 weeks, yeah.
Done fuck all for 6 weeks. So after 6 weeks of doing nothing, 15 minutes before the window closes, man wakes up, scratching his nuts, getting out of bed, goes, you know what I need to do today? I need to drop one of my best point scorers of the season and bring in Jean-Philippe Nketiah, who
hadn't scored for ages,
and bagged a hat-trick on the final day.
Which was enough for Gary to win the final, relegating me to my 5th silver medal in 2 years. Because we were, just to explain for those outside the league, which is most of you for now, we play in multiple game modes, and we were running 3 competitions last year. I finished second in 2 of them and won 1 of them. And the previous year, I finished second in all 3, because there is a collective effort to make sure that I win as little as possible, because y'all can't handle all of this. This here can't handle it. So I am technically and mathematically the team to beat. You beat me, you win your competition. It is known. And yes, the year before that, John won our only ever treble, and it would be remiss of me not to mention that. And there's no way he would have let me get away without mentioning it anyway.
Yep.
So John won the treble.
But that was also the year after I had my treble rudely taken away from me.
Oh, that was in the last year. That was that year. That was the dark times.
That was the great match fixing scandal of 22. Yes.
It was taken away from you by your own criminality. But more than criminality.
They couldn't handle the man winning the treble. Made up shenanigans. Fight next year.
We're not going to
treble the year before. I won it that year. Then next year.
What we're going to do with the match fixing scandal of 2020
football player of all time.
Which makes what?
Makes me the greatest fantasy football player of all time.
And that's why I'm going to be making a full-length documentary entitled What John Did. No. We will at some point revisit the details and particulars of John's scandalous match fixing and absolutely incompetent tracks covering. But that's for another video. Let's come back to Crystal Palace. Mateta, yes, he is purest evil and destroyed my dreams. So naturally I picked him this year because he's actually scoring pretty well. He's playing pretty well. Palace are the absolute question mark of all Premier League teams. You never know whether they're going to show up and be, Liverpool or Everton. They're highly unpredictable, highly unstable. But Mateta is pretty solid. So I think Nketiah is probably better going to Palace, but I don't think he's a must-have nailed on grab him immediately kind of player. I think Ward-Prowse might be. I think Ramsdale is not.
Ramsdale is going to pick up a buckload of points playing for Southampton because he's going to be busy and he's a good goalie.
He is going to be busy, yeah. To be fair, I don't know if
Sam Johnson going from Crystal Palace over to Wolves is a great transfer because it means Dean Henderson is guaranteed to be number one at Palace. Mm-hmm. If Johnson is going to Wolves, that means he's benching Jose Sa, who has looked a bit shaky, to say the least. There's been a lot of movement in goalkeepers. Nottingham Forest put in a bid on deadline day for Nketiah, which got rejected.
And Liverpool have bought another keeper as well, have they not?
Yes, Yashvin Marshford something. Can't pronounce his name. Georgian. Is it Georgian?
If it ends with Philly, it's Georgian.
Yeah, he was playing in the Euros. He's Valencian goalkeeper. Great Euros. Looks like a very, very good goalkeeper playing for Valencia. Bought him, loaned him back, which means Arquivin Kelleher knows that even next season. So the plan with Georgie, I'm going to call him because fuck if I'm going to keep trying to say his name. So Georgie has gone back to Valencia this year with the deal that he'll be loaned out to the Premier League next year and will take over as the number one in 2 years because that will put Alice into an age where it's time for him to move on. Anyhow.
This all sounds like terrible news for Irish goalkeepers.
It is.
Bazunu and Kelleher just kind of fading into the background here.
Bazunu and Kelleher just got both confirmed to be benchers for the season.
Rough. And it's not like they have... it's not like Bazunu can wait for European games, is it?
Ireland's third keeper is Mark Travers, who's also the third choice for Bournemouth.
Third as of... What's it moving over to them? Didn't they pick up as well?
Bournemouth, yeah, they did. Kepa,
Chelsea second choice, which probably means Sanchez is in great form.
Went to Madrid last season.
Kepa did.
Yeah, Kepa was in loan. Then.
Oh, okay. That's why I didn't spot him.
He was there to replace Courtois last year. Then he got injured. Then Lunan came in. Lunan was class, which meant that Kepa went on loan to be a bench player there as well. He's gone there. Neto's gone to Arsenal to be Arsenal's second choice. Quite a swinging goalkeeper maybe go around on transfer deadline.
Man, I have spreadsheets to update. I have serious spreadsheet work to do. Both the ones you guys see and the ones you can't. Goalies, yeah. Good to see a bit of goalie fluidity because,
Well, let me go through a few. David Raya is currently the statistically best goalkeeper in the league. He's actually done quite well.
Well, Arsenal are the only defence left in the league. They're the only team that set out first to concede as few goals as possible.
Yeah, I'm just going to list out top 10 goalkeepers and then I'll go through some of the new ones. So Raya is number 1, Mark Flecken number 2, my holy goalie Allison number 3, Nick Pope number 4, Mads Reimerson number 5, but he's also got a game over a couple of those guys ahead of him. Neto, who's now Arsenal's second choice, is number 6 on the list. Matt Sells 7, Bert Leno 8, Areola 9, Jason Steele 10.
I remember that there was a bit of a flurry of why do Arsenal need another goalie a while back. And it was Leno and... Not Czech, it was after Czech.
Leno and Ramsdale.
It was Ramsdale, wasn't it?
Ramsdale was brought in to replace Leno, yeah.
Like there seems to be a comfort in that club in particular in having 2 and 3 really strong goalies and then not really using them. But again, it's Arsenal, They're a very, very strong defensive team. They're the only team that really will pick up any clean sheets this year. Nobody else seems interested in getting any. Saliba is one of the best defenders in the Premier League. In a pure defensive manner.
I have the best. I have the goalkeepers cornered for the season. I have Allison and Pope, which are 3 and 4 on the list.
Yeah, that's a ridiculously strong panel. Just remember, if you had the 10 best goalkeepers, they would still be the lowest scoring position.
I'm not worried about that. It means I have bargaining chips later.
Yes. And again, for those of you who aren't familiar with our format, we do trade internally. And very often in draft, it can be very clever to kind of stack up on one position, knowing that there'll be injuries later in the year and somebody who suddenly needs a defender for a legal team has to go shopping, or somebody who's 2 goalies are out suddenly has to go shopping, and goalies are a nightmare to replace. Personally, I went with having 6 bankable strikers this year because most seasons you only really need 3 good ones to dominate. And I think as the year goes on, some of mine might get injured, some of somebody else's might get injured, but I'm hoarding them like some sort of dragon.
I
So
do like your. Do you know what? I'm looking at your front line here.
it's incredible.
I like it. So your starters, like this isn't gonna, but it's not gonna work. Pedro, I love Joe Pedro. He's one of those players that I
Yeah,
really enjoy watching, but he's super streaky.
he is, but he's also
You've also got
largely
Embuemo.
played as an impact sub.
Oh, Pedro's class. I like him, but he's just streaky.
Mm,
Then we have
yeah.
Embuemo, who's
Well, Pedro's nailed on
the
this year.
victor in the Ivan Toney thing.
Mhm.
Salah. Oh, we bring Havertz, who's
Mo Salah,
Vardy
who
and
will
Nketiah.
sneeze and 400 points will fall out. Kai Havertz. I would argue that when the weakest striker you have scored 18 goals last year, it's looking pretty good. It's looking pretty good. And I have enough room there. Like it's probably the best squad depth piece in the whole league.
I'm not I'm not
collection
I've
of
been open about
midfielders,
this. I am not
because
happy
I
about
have picked
my
Bacon and
forward line.
midfielders.
I have fucked my forward line, but my defense is stacked. I have the best defense in the league. I do. Like I have John Stones, I have Ian Matson, I have
Um,
Calafiori, Livramento, Saliba, Trent. Oh yeah, can we?
can we talk about Calafiori for a minute? Calafiori, I
Yeah.
can talk about this. I watched him play today, and he was rather good. Um, I do feel a certain
Mhm.
solidarity with him because he's a long-haired man.
Oh yeah.
I like
Played
when
in
my
the Euros.
long-haired
It's
men are
also very
Italian.
good.
Is he Italian? Yeah, yeah. Name like there's something about the long-haired Italian at the back that just always channels Maldini for me. But Arsenal were really, and I say this as a fervent Brighton fan who's incredibly frustrated with the result. Arsenal were just airtight after they let in the equaliser, when they had just had a red card and a shit ton of drama over Declan Rice, and one of the strangest decisions I think I've ever seen. Um, and they held Brighton off for half the game with 10 men, and it was down to Saliba and Calafiori. And I knew nothing about this guy because he wasn't on a spreadsheet of mine last year. But again, Arsenal's defense just keeps getting better and better. And when you consider as well,
Yeah.
Ben White is just kind of hanging around there too, being brilliant. And part of me is just
Their
hoping that someone
defense
that
is going
isn't
to
City
be
win the league.
fine.
And part of me
Calafiori
is
is
kind of
going to
going, I should
play.
take Gal.
He's going. What's happening there is he had more time off after the Euros,
Mm-hmm.
so he came in a bit later. And obviously, coming from Italy into the Premier League, he's basically being drip fed in. So the first game he didn't. He came off the bench for about 15 minutes. Second game came on for about half an hour. Came off the bench again today. Like he's better than Jurriën Timber as a left back, and he's probably perfect to go beside Saliba in the centre.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I think I see great things there. So for anybody who's playing in a game where you can pick him up, pick him up.
He's worth a look. Matson, like he's played in the Champions League final last year for Dortmund. Was on loan from Chelsea's stocked system. He was fucking outrageously good for Dortmund. He didn't
How
play.
did he get on today? I see.
Lucas
I didn't
Digne
catch much of that
is
game.
playing at the moment.
Can I tell you something about him last year? Right. Now this isn't hard data. This is anecdotal from an overview on the data. I don't believe I have ever seen a player drop into negative points so often as Luca Dini. It was uncanny. There were -2s, -3s, -5s. It was like he was coming on, and the first thing he would do was cock up, and then you
Again,
just go, right, well, sod this
Matson
kid.
was also at the Euros with Holland this summer.
And this year he's been pretty solid.
Ian Matson was also the left back that was with Holland this summer, so that's why he's currently behind Lucas Digne.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, Holland.
Yeah.
I'm fine with the word Holland. I thought you said something else.
Ian Matson last year played for Dortmund, got all the way to the Champions League final and was class. Chelsea then sold him for peanuts because this is what Chelsea do. And also, well, to be fair, the fee is actually about 35 mil, which is actually pretty good, but that's how good he is as a young left back. What is he? 20 odd?
Right.
He's 22. He's 22. He's going to play ahead of Digna. Digna has just been playing at the moment, while, again, he had a long-ass summer and a long-ass season last year. And however, Digna has got 2 assists in the last 2 games as a result of having this guy breathing down his neck. Who else in the defense? John Stones, when Pep Guardiola also decides that his summer break is over after getting all the way to the Euros final, he's going to get back in the team. Livramento is Newcastle. Newcastle are generally quite stodgy at the back, and that's good. Saliba is Saliba. Trent is Trent. And Alisson is Alisson. My defense is very, 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 very tiny.
And that is absolutely the territory in which you're strongest. Let's do a quick comparison with.
It's not comparable.
Who have I got? Yeah. Okay. So Anderson, Davis, White, and Pinnock will all get assists.
Anderson won't be getting assists.
Pinnock seems to be off to a poor start because I think Brentford are kind of off to a poor start at the back. He will be busy, and at Fulham in particular, he will be busy. Yeah.
He'll be good, but he won't get assists.
We shall see. Kyle Walker came on today with 5 minutes to go, and it was lovely to see him because, the issue with Walker is also the issue with Stones. Does Pep have any time left for them on the pitch when he has so many choices?
They'll be starters. They're just coming back off a long summer.
I hope so. Because I am a little bit concerned about my defense. And then there's midfield. And here we are comparing our two teams instead of talking about the transfers again. Who's this young fella who's gone to Liverpool with one of the funniest clauses I've ever read?
Federico Chiesa. What's the clause?
Chiesa. It's brilliant. It's 12.5 million, right? Where 10 they actually get, and the other 2.5 is if Liverpool win the Premier League and the Champions League.
I thought it was if he played a certain amount of games because the man has no knees.
Trophy wins. I was wondering what was wrong with him because 12.5, like the way people talk about him, he's like this absolute monster, and 12.5 million.
So yeah, he went to Juve, and basically in his first season under Pirlo, he was absolutely stunning. Wow, this is the man. Like he's only 26. He signed there from Fiorentina, and it was decent money. It would have been decent money. Let me get the price for you there.
Well, he's not a crock like he's.
No, yeah. So Chelsea, basically, Juve loaned him because this is how they do it, with an obligation to buy for 40 mil plus 10 mil in variables with a 7 million loan fee. So it's just shy of 60 mil is what Juve bought him for. In 2001.
Cool. Okay, so it just I saw 12.5. I saw a headline that ended with 12.5, and I didn't understand why a headline player would be 12.5.
Because he basically got one of those injuries with the ACLs.
Okay. So we're buying in the hope that he gets better. That's
he has not been the same since. No, that was 2 years ago.
Okay.
This is like one of these Luke Shaw ones of the man is very, very good when he's fit.
When he's healthy. Yeah, gotcha. And tell me, are we talking, like, where does he go in the Liverpool squad? Because that left is crowded and the right is Mo.
I don't know.
Yeah. Like, they seem to have an awful lot over kind of left and out front, and they're all good bankable players. Like, if you consider Diaz, Gakpo, and Jota, there's no weak point there.
Well, Gakpo has barely played.
But when he does, he scores.
Yeah. Nunes. But a 10 mil. See, the thing is, I don't think with him, it's one of those, where do we fit him in? I think it's one of those ones that he'll come get a few sub appearances at the start. People be like, oh, fuck. Yeah, this fella, there's a reason why he was bought for this price, because when he's healthy, he's good. Then he'll play his way into the team and probably go through the middle.
Yep.
And then he'll get injured.
Can we pause momentarily? very momentarily.
Go on. I'm just going. Yeah, so while Jimmy is away, what I'll do real quick is I'll explain our game, I guess. Fantasy football is not
a game for the faint of heart or the poor with number.
You were quick.
Forgive the interruption.
I was just going to do some filler stuff. But yeah, no, Nketiah is going to be class when he's fit.
Okay, that's cool. I mean,
but then,
again,
as I said, he'll play his way into the team and then he'll get hurt. And then... Can I talk about the transfer that's going to upset me the most?
Tell me about the transfer that's going to upset you the most, John.
You know who it is.
Huh. Who is it?
Scott McTominay. Big Sauce, one half of McFred.
Big Sauce, yeah. That is a strange one. He had such a beautiful hot streak. We were talking about this just before we went on, and there was
He's the reason that we decided to come on, because we're like, oh, this is part of what we want to talk about.
So again, stop me if I go wrong. I'm an old man with bad memory and no understanding of what I'm talking about. Scott McTominay, unless I'm very much mistaken, in the space of 4 weeks scored 2 international goals for Scotland and then 2 goals in 2 weeks scoring in a row for United in the middle of that.
Mm-hmm.
And promptly disappeared.
He was one of the top goal scorers in the Euro qualifiers.
That's unbelievable. And it's not like Scotland or Brazil. So where's he gone?
Naples. He's going to go over to Italy and get a cocaine problem like Diego Maradona.
The whole legal liability thing just is no worry for you, is it? Yeah, no worries. It's all good.
No, Scott McTominay, I love that man. He's one of those players. He is what he is, and I fucking love it about him. He runs all day. He plays like, I'm not going to say he's the kind of guy who's going to receive the ball between the centre backs, turn, spin, and lay it on a dime. He's not Bernardo Silva, but what he is,
he's going to belt it through the goalie.
He's a big boy.
Mm-hmm.
He knows where to get to, and he's a smasher.
Yeah.
But he's a going forward smasher. But he's also one of those guys that if you say, I need to sit, like, put it like this, the manager who brought him through has brought through probably 3 youth prospects in his whole managerial career. And it was Jose Mourinho.
Really?
Jose Mourinho gave him his debut. Yeah. Jose Mourinho was the one who brought him in from the academy.
That is intriguing.
Others that Mourinho would have promoted at a young level would have been Rafael Varane, who went on and had a quite good career playing in Jose's Madrid and thereafter.
And where did it all go wrong? What's that on your chest?
It was fine. He just wasn't fit.
He didn't play. He got no scores. I'm here for the numbers, John.
When he played,
numbers. He's no Johnny Evans.
He's going to go over to Italy and be fucking world class.
Yeah. He has it written all over him. He really does. And once again, United following the policy of sell the good ones.
No, United have been historically shit for sales. Do you know up until, was it literally this summer, Dan James was the biggest transfer fee they had received?
Dan James.
Since David Beckham.
Where's Dan James now? Is he at Leeds or is he Fulham or where is he?
He's back at Leeds.
Back at Leeds. Right. Back at Leeds. Championship.
Yeah. But he was the biggest transfer fee that the club had got since they sold, not David Beckham, from Ronaldo to Madrid. After that, he was the next biggest in that whole timeline. United have historically been very, very poor at sales since the Glazers came in.
And how many Dan Jameses would it take to pay for a Pogba?
Quite a few.
Yeah, I get what you mean about shit at sales, because the Pogba thing blew my mind. And again, transfers I only watch in the context of where will the points go. But, okay, McTominay is away. What does this mean for United's midfield?
They have brought in Manuel Ugarte from PSG.
Right. Well, initial reaction. I know what PSG stands for, and
Oil money.
I meant literally what it stands for. It's Paris Saint-Germain. But I know absolutely nothing of this man. Is he a similar kind of player to McTominay? Is he an attacker, a destroyer, the DM?
He is, in terms of player profile, so for the fantasy football player, if you're looking for a comparison, it's João Palhinha.
Pass.
He's
Hard pass.
or in terms of style, historically, who also, like historical style, you're probably saying like a Mascherano type. South American destroyer.
I know who Mascherano is, Liverpool and Barcelona. I know that one from Football Manager, back when I had to play.
Yes, and he's come in from PSG, basically decent price, about 40 mil, I think it was. He's going to go in there beside Kobe Mainoo, and his job will be kick.
Okay.
And you know what? No, in terms of like last season for the last 2 seasons, João Palhinha has made the most tackles in a season, and was the person to beat his own record last season. So he said 2 years ago, João Palhinha set the record for most tackles in a single season amongst interceptions, and beat his own record. And he went to fucking Bayern Munich, so he's going to be class, and he's very, very important. So if Ugarte can come in and do that type of football, he's not going to be a points builder because he's going to get booked a lot. But in terms of what he'll do for opening out other players, it means that someone like Kobe Mainoo is allowed to get further forward than he has been able to in the last 2 years.
So
the last year.
Yeah, I mean Palhinha. These guys.
He comes in for Casemiro, and it means that the stuff that Casemiro's been doing around the edge of the box, that's now Mainoo doing.
Yeah, Casemiro's disappointing me. I picked him up, and I have the buyer's remorse already. The other thing about Casemiro and Palhinha,
this weekend against Liverpool is his last starting game.
Casemiro.
Yeah.
This new guy is that good.
He's going to start because he's got the legs that Casemiro doesn't.
Yeah, because Casemiro was very good for a while there. He was very, very good. And very, very easy to dislike, but very good.
And also, United have this weird thing with players from Sporting Lisbon.
Okay, is this a Mourinho thing?
No, it's a Cristiano Ronaldo thing.
Ah, okay.
So who else did they get from there? Ooh, Nani.
You're back in pre-league history there, so
Bruno.
All right, shining star of the United team.
And now Ugarte. He went from Sporting to PSG. Then PSG went and hired Luis Enrique as a manager who doesn't like that type of player. He goes, we like to keep a football and just move a football. We don't do tackling because we just keep the ball forever type football. So I don't need a fella whose job is to tackle because we're not going to not have the ball.
Yeah.
So that's why he didn't play much for PSG, and they went and then dropped a shitload of money on Neves from Benfica, and they needed to move him on.
But these tackle merchants, John, they get lots of shiny cards. They get in lots of trouble and get suspended.
I'm not saying, from a fantasy football perspective, don't touch him.
Yeah. Don't
touch him, but touch all the players around him. As wrong as that sounds.
I'm very card shy.
He's not the one you want.
I don't have any time fancy Gordon.
You're able to pick up a Mainoo. Mainoo is worth, in terms of what his value is, in terms of how many people would have actually picked him. That will probably add goals to Mainoo's game because he's able to get further forward the pitch.
Okay. Look, can we talk about the thing that I said we wouldn't talk about?
Go on.
Them. Them.
Damien?
No. Them with their infinite money and their constant rotation and that oversized Viking muppet out front.
City.
So City haven't bought anyone, have they? Apart from Savinho. Okay, but they've sold the most players.
Julian Alvarez.
Who, per the instructions of my much wiser brother, who understands these things, explained to me that in any other team in the world, Alvarez would start.
Alvarez is like the second best forward in fucking football. He's just unfortunate that the man in front of him is the best.
Don't like him, Don't like him.
Julian Alvarez is going to be one of those players that Oh my god! If I say this, I'm going to hate myself. So you have Mbappe, who's obviously at Real, and he's gone to Atletico. So there's your league rivalry in terms of who's going up against who. And
Not bad.
like,
Once again, in absence of my brother, I will point out that Atletico are the ones to shout for there now and always. But City aren't really shopping as they have done in previous seasons. They
no, because
seem
they
to be
know they're going
on,
to get relegated halfway through the year.
but it's not going to happen, though, is it?
There's something coming for this one.
Legal liability alarm is going off in my ear here. I can hear our
Like
trio member.
I don't think the other Premier League clubs, like anything I've read online, has said that the other Premier League clubs, because of Everton getting the points deduction that they got from Nottingham Forest getting the points deduction they got, that if they just get like a light slap on the wrist and get like it's like, oh, just pay a 20 grand fine, that the other Premier League clubs are going to basically push the case again. They want to see some proper, like basically they want it to all be come to light and be public. It's like, City have to prove themselves innocent. Best of luck. 115 charges. I'm sure they're going, like, put it like this: if there's 115 charges and they're not innocent of all of them.
No, they're not. Probably.
Possibly. Who knows?
Maybe. Who knows?
You can't tell. But if we're just going to say theoretically they get done for 2 or 3 and they get a similar issue to Everton, not first, nobody's going to have a problem with that.
Okay, I get it.
I can see there being problems if they don't get done for any, or if they get done for all and there's a slap on the wrist going, pay us a fine, but you're allowed, but you keep your leagues, or you don't get a points deduction, or this, that, and the other. It's fuck them.
This feels like a conversation that we should be having with our legal eagle in the room who understands how such things work. But we can't because he went drinking pints without us.
I'm gonna go drink pints tomorrow.
I'm not.
Can we preview the games tomorrow? Can we have a look at the games tomorrow? Because I want to see who we have and who's playing. And then I'm going out for a pint myself.
My boy Mo.
Your boy
My boy Mo. My first pick this year, Mo Salah, is going to do unspeakable things to Man United tomorrow.
United show up generally against Liverpool, apart from that one time that went really bad.
There was a couple of those times, John. They were fairly recent.
I know about one.
Was it? Let me just now again a little space because of my memory being hazy. But was it 7-0?
Yeah.
That was at Anfield though, so that's different. Yeah. Right. And then the following year was 6-2?
No. Just no.
No, that was City.
So tomorrow we've got the Chelsea's daily selected 11 against Crystal Palace. Whoever wins.
First 11 lads to show up at Stamford Bridge will be offered a 7-year contract.
Really, I think it is. I think it's just like a raffle system of they just put all the balls in a bingo ball, roll it out, and go, today is 32. Who's number 32? You're playing left back.
It could be my first start. We don't know. I, like everybody else, am now on a 7-year contract at Chelsea. So
Crystal Palace and Crystal Palace will be fine. Newcastle, Spurs, and Liverpool United.
You know, normally I couldn't take my eyes away from Liverpool United, but Newcastle Spurs strikes me as the one to watch there. Spurs are just...
And they don't have a forward because Solanke and Richarlison are both injured.
Didn't they bring someone in as well?
Solanke.
Oh, no, they didn't. They brought in Solanke, and we haven't even spoken about that, and I think he's about to be found out. And also, Brennan Johnson to the rescue there, perhaps. For now. But none of these things is equal to the sum of their parts of what's missing.
Joey's in trouble because Joey's our resident Spurs fan, and he's obviously stacked in Spurs land as a Spurs man would be.
Bizarrely, though, he's actually got more Arsenal players than Spurs fans. Or Arsenal players than Spurs players.
Yeah, that sounds about right too.
No, yeah. he's over on Arsenal. You're over on United. I'm over on Brighton, but only to a small degree.
I
was wondering as well. Adingra,
was one of my United players.
Say again?
I'm willing to sell one of my United players.
I'm not willing to buy any of your United players unless it's.
I know you're not, but if Dean is listening or Damien is listening,
I know Dean can't resist a
Dermot
United
is
player.
listening, or if Kim is listening.
Dermot's not buying United players. Kim's not listening. Dermot's not buying United players. Dean will buy any United player you throw in front of him. Damo will only buy them if they're Irish, or if they haven't played in a year, or if they have a severe heart condition. Those are the scenarios in which Damo will
So
pick up
Ahmed
United
Diallo.
players. Sell Diallo. That's interesting. I might have to have a look at my bank of world-class strikers. Ooh. So, right, looking at tomorrow, I'm going to give Spurs 2-1 over Newcastle. Who else we got? Chelsea and Palace?
Chelsea and Palace. I'm pumping for a Palace win there.
I think that's a... Who's at home? Chelsea?
Chelsea are at home, so I'm putting Palace down for a score to win.
I'm going to say another 1-1 with Palmer ruining your fun in the 84th minute.
Yeah, I'm going for both teams to score. Crystal Palace to win that. Newcastle Spurs has a 1-0 or a 5-4 vibe.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun.
I don't feel like that has an in-between in terms of what's actually available there. I think Newcastle will either get really, really staunchy, and Nick Pope will do what Nick Pope does and basically turn into Gandalf for fucking 90 minutes ago. You shall not pass because I'm fucking massive.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Have you seen that man?
He's a big.
He's listed as like 6'3", 6'2", 6'3", or whatever. He's not. He's like 6'7". He's giant.
Yeah, he was that dude in Game of Thrones. So we're just not going to talk about what's going to happen to United when they play Liverpool.
Okay, go on.
I'm going to say 3-1 Liverpool.
I'm going to say 2-1.
Liverpool.
I'm going to say 2-1 United, and I'm going to put my money on. I'm going to put my money on Xerxes to score.
I will say
Marcus Rashford. Actually, there we go. I'm going to put it down as a 2-1 United and Marcus Rashford to score, because he only seems to score against Arsenal and Liverpool, and he does nothing else the rest of the season.
Salah, McAllister, Luis Diaz, and a saucy one from Diallo. But 3-1 Liverpool.
Okay. I'm not saying
Okay.
that. Also, actually, just before I give up for the evening, do you know how upsetting that goal was for me last week?
Which one?
The one that didn't happen because Xerxes got bugged. Yeah.
So much fun.
At that point, then obviously Brighton went up the other end and doing good. And João Pedro was class again. But
yeah. This week, mostly because you were talking about how great he was, and I was like, this is bait. He's trying to get me to take him. So I checked, was he transferring out, or was he sick, or had he been shot? And there was nothing, and I was like, this is double bait. He actually wants him. So I took him.
I wasn't going to take him because I think he's going to be in and out as a sub.
Yeah,
because Jacobo Minte is actually proper good.
Minty looked good today.
Minty looks mint.
He looks mint. He looks mint, but he's no João Pedro, because no one is. Welbeck was a little bit cold today.
And Brighton still have Evan Ferguson to come back.
Is Ferguson coming back on the horizon this side of Christmas? I think that's the long term, isn't it? But Estepinian was back today. Did you see?
Estepinian was back today.
Purvis slipping around.
Is he one to pick up those? Question.
He came back soft last year, and he wasn't great. Let's be honest. He was the entire magic of Brighton last year was that left side, him to Matoma, and then he got unwell, and he came back, and he was a bit crap. By that time, Brighton were a bit crap. Brighton kind of went off a cliff there in the last 3 months of last year. I think once they were out of Europe, everything kind of fell apart for them, and De Zerbi was kind of shopping around for somewhere else to go, and things weren't good. And Estepinian came back and he wasn't great, but they're doing all right this year. 2 wins and a draw, and the draw was Arsenal, which is about as good a start to the season as a Brighton could hope for.
And they spent the most money this summer.
Yeah, but they've got a pretty solid transfer system.
Yeah, but this is the first time they've reached into their pockets and gone, let's dance.
Yeah, and it's working. Like, to be
Yeah,
fair,
well,
it's working.
actually not, because you haven't seen any of them yet, and you're not going to for a while.
No,
So
no, another big squad, another big rotation squad. But if
Matt,
Estepinian,
Matt O'Reilly got signed for a small fortune from Celtic.
hmm,
He's the dog's bollocks. By the way, he's good.
okay, okay,
If he was there, he'd be playing in the 10 job. Pedro would be going back out wide
hmm,
or up through the middle. He's proper good. Max Vifa, that's Vifa.
FIFA,
I don't know how to say it.
FIFA. You as a
Vifa,
FIFA or you as a FIFA?
Matt's Vifa. Uh, he's out injured, just short term knock. You bought Reuter from Leeds, who I'm not personally a fan of. I'm not having that. You went and got Simon and Dringa. You went and got Yakuba Minty, who cost you a small fortune.
It's working out though. He's not putting in the hole yet, but it's working out. He's busy.
Was it Carlos Baleba? Is another one?
Faleba's in, yes. He's been popping his head up already. And this is, of course, with Gilmore and Buonanotte gone.
Gilmore just got sold also to Napoli,
Mm,
going over making friends with Scott McTominay, the two Scots boys, as the heart of the Italian midfield.
that's a nasty couple of DMs to try and get past there.
McTominay is going to be a 10.
You reckon?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Have you seen
Look,
that? Napoli look interesting because this is Antonio Conte with Lukaku up top.
okay. I remember him. He's that little mad fellow who used to run Spurs.
And Chelsea.
And Chelsea.
Won league at Chelsea.
Did he?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
He was rather good. It's just
Rather good.
sad. He's just a bit mental.
Well, yeah, sure, you're allowed that. Bit of insanity does tend to get things done. You know?
And he loves Romelu Lukaku.
Gun to your head. No time to think. You can take any player right now, picked or unpicked. Who is it?
Like to improve my squad or just like in general?
To improve yours, don't come at me with he who must not be named. You can have anyone
Well,
else.
it's obviously him.
It's obviously him, but I don't want to acknowledge that.
Oh, who's the one I want? It would probably. Who's going to be the guy there? If it's not going to be Erling, you'd be looking at Mo.
Yeah. See, I already have him, so I think perhaps I made a crucial mistake when I drafted. I think I should have taken Kevin De Bruyne. I think Kevin De Bruyne has looked fantastic again. He's playing as well as he ever has.
He looks fit.
He's being used in a new way. I wouldn't have thought, if I read about what they're doing with him at City, which is playing him super wide to pull everyone away. I wouldn't have thought he would have the speed for nipping in and out the way he has been, but he has been sublime, and I left him on the table for Mo Salah. And I think perhaps De Bruyne has finished top player of the year 3 years ago in terms of Opta. He was
but I think
top dog.
that's the last time he's going to do that.
I don't know. Foden's dissolved. Foden's gone.
Foden's fine. He's just been away on holidays.
What?
He was playing in the Euros final, so they gave him a summer holiday. The same reason why Rodri only just came back into the squad.
Okay,
Rodri
well, look, I'm just saying I underestimated De Bruyne and his value this year. I thought maybe age and injury were going to see.
Remember, they started Jack Grealish today. Foden will be fine.
Yeah, fair point. I was worried that De Bruyne was going to move into the David Silva role of old, of showing up once every 4 games, playing an absolute blinder, and then having a sore knee for a month.
I think that's where he's going to end up by the end of the season.
I hope not, because he's actually a joy to watch at the moment. Much as I despise him. He's a joy to watch.
He's a wonderful player.
Yeah.
But it's not going to happen.
No. But it's always worth watching. It's just a shame who's connecting on the end of all of those wonderful passes. Don't like him, John.
Yeah, I know. Well, it's just he's very good.
But is he worth 15 million quid?
No, I don't have him. I don't have him in my squad in that.
Neither do I, and that's why my squad is terrible. We're not going to talk about that game. That's a whole other day's work, I think. I think we've been harassing these people for long enough. Let's let them go to their Saturday night, and you go find your pints, my friend.
I shall. Good day.
Good night, Statr people. It's been awesome.
Yeah, start of it. Follow this. Follow us. Follow what we're doing. Join the waiting list. And what we're going to do, like, this is obviously the first time we're doing this, so we're going to get our hands around it, our heads around it. We're going to figure out, these visuals don't look great. We're going to improve that by the next one. I think this is just, let's get our thoughts out there, tell people that we're doing this, and then in the future episodes we'll have lots of improvements in terms of location, in terms of how we look, in terms of actually being, I suppose, clean. And that's both metaphorically and physically speaking.
You've never been
on that note,
clean.
Peace. I'm